He looked at me over the edge of his wine glass, a sneer tugging at the corner of his lips. Still the family disappointment, he mocked. Everyone paused. Forks stopped midair. My mother just smiled, not a hint of protest, her eyes glazed over. I swallowed the pie, but it tasted like dust. I didn't say a word. I just set my fork down slowly, stood up, and walked out into the cold, letting the door close softly behind me. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed. "Why did my rent bounce?" came my brother's voice, sharp and accusing. I didn't rush to reply. Instead, I let the silence hang thick in the air before answering. Maybe the disappointments finally started pulling back. He exploded with curses, his words cutting deep, showing just how fragile his life was when I wasn't there holding it up. I hung up on him mid-rant. The tension had been brewing for years. It started long before that Thanksgiving dinner. I'd become the family scapegoat, the quiet one, the outcast they could always blame for not fitting in with their version of success. I had a degree they didn't respect, a job they couldn't comprehend. I earned a good income, but they assumed I didn't, never bothered to ask. Thanksgiving was always the same. The same table, the same fake smiles, the same subtle judgment wrapped in sarcastic remarks. My brother, the golden child, was the one they praised, despite his flaws, maxed out credit cards, a DUI buried with money, and the fact that I had co-signed his lease when his credit couldn't even get him a library card. He made mistakes, I made sacrifices. Yet he always got the praise. The betrayal wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, like when I overheard my dad telling his golf buddy that I was just hopping between jobs, even though I was leading a project that brought in 6 figures. Or when my mom, in passing, told my aunt I probably needed therapy, unaware I had paid for hers after her panic attack the previous year. And then there was my brother, the perfect son, using my name to get a small business loan without asking me, just forged my digital signature and smiled when I confronted him. "You weren't using your credit anyway," he said, as if it was no big deal. That was the moment the shift happened. That was when love turned into a transaction. I didn't react. I kept quiet, taking note of every time I bailed him out, every time he was late paying me back, or didn't pay at all. I flagged the loan, reported the misuse of my credit, and froze everything tied to my name. Then I did the one thing he didn't expect. I stopped paying his rent. I quietly removed myself as a guarantor, and when the landlord called, I didn't answer. The checks bounced. The eviction notice came. He had nowhere to turn because I had always been his safety net. I walked away, without a second thought. A few days later he came to my door, looking disheveled, his pride hanging by a thread. "You think this proves something?" he sneered, standing there with all the bravado he could muster. I leaned against the doorframe, calm. "No," I said. "It just proves I'm done." He punched the wall next to my head, but I didn't flinch. The neighbor opened their door, and I just whispered, "Go ahead. Let them call the cops. Let them see the real you." He backed off, eyes wild, chest heaving. "You're dead to this family," he spat. I smiled, slow and deliberate. "That makes 2 of us." And then I closed the door on him, letting the sound of his rage fade into the night. The next day, Mom sent a text. "He's just going through a rough patch. You didn't have to go nuclear." No apology, no understanding. Just the same old narrative. I replied with one sentence. "Your smile at Thanksgiving said enough." Then I blocked her number. Dad never reached out. Not that I expected him to. His silence was always louder than his words. Weeks passed, and word spread that my brother had defaulted on his loan, his credit destroyed, his apartment lost. He moved in with a college friend, the same one he'd once mocked for living small. Mom sent Christmas cards. I returned them unopened. For the first time in years, the holidays were peaceful. No guilt. No tension. Just calm. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt still, like I'd stepped off a stage I never wanted to be on. People confuse silence with weakness, but silence is where strength grows sharper. I didn't scream, didn't fight. I just walked away. And that silence? It spoke louder than any words I could have said. They lost their scapegoat. I found my spine. Funny thing is, no one ever asks why the black sheep leaves. They just notice the wolf that comes back. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear it.